Special Counsel Robert Mueller reportedly wants to interview West Wing staffers in the Russia case. Napolitano is here. Now, what's the significance of this? It sounds ominous.
All right, if this is true, and I say if, we're basing this reporting on a front-page New York Times story from yesterday, Sunday's Times, which, according to the Times, is based on numerous sources in the West Wing. So I'm going to assume that it's accurate. It's very ominous. It basically means that Reince Priebus, the president's former chief of staff, has already been subpoenaed. And before they subpoena you, they interview you. So FBI agents have interviewed him, gone back to Bob Mueller and said, here's what he's told us. Mueller has decided the grand jury has to hear that. So now he gets a subpoena to testify before the grand jury. There's no judge there. He doesn't have a lawyer there. There's no defense counsel there. It's just a prosecutor interrogating him, an FBI agent making notes, and the 23 members of the grand jury. The same will happen for staff on the West Wing, and here's what he's looking at. Are there people in the West Wing who can corroborate James Comey's version of his communications with the president before he was fired? And those communications address the following subject matter. Can you lay off of Mike Flynn? Question. Was that an instruction? Was it a suggestion? Was it the president acting as the chief law enforcement officer of the land, or was it corrupt? Was the president asking the FBI to lay off of Mike Flynn because he was worried that Mike Flynn might say something about the president?
So that's what it's all about.
Lay it out. That's
cut it all aside, cut right to the chase. That's it.
It also means that he is taking the Mueller and company, there's 16 lawyers there now, are taking seriously Comey's statements about his involvement and interaction with the president. Was it bribery? You want to keep your job as head of FBI, lay off of Mike Flynn? Was it obstruction of justice? Leave Flynn alone because I don't want this to come back to me. I'm mouthing words that I'm sure the president didn't say, but I'm suggesting the type of words that would place the president in legal jeopardy.
So ultimately we're going to decide on the tone and the interpretation of a few words as to whether or not the president stays in office.
Yes.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And remember, a couple of other things are happening. You and I talked about this already. The raid on Paul Manafort's home. Yeah. That is an extreme tool, a pre-dawn raid on a private residence, which is only to be used when no other less offensive means can be used for gathering evidence.
Russia looks ominous. Okay, let's leave it at that.
Right.
Hate speech. Charlottesville.
Yes.
Is hate speech, direct, overt hate speech, protected by the Constitution?
In a word, yes. So if you were to ask me, can this character, I forget his name, the guy that tried to give the press conference yesterday, orchestrated all this and arguably started the awful dominoes falling, can he be prosecuted for this murder? Answer, no. The First Amendment is so broad and so wide, it protects the speech we hate and fear. It protects incendiary speech. It protects speech that encourages violence.
I seem to remember in the distant past, the Nazi Party of America wanted to march through Skokie, Illinois, which had a large Jewish population.
Yes.
And the American Civil Liberties Union defended the Nazis for making that march on the grounds of free speech.
Look at the Westboro Baptist Church. Look at the awful things they say at funerals of military speech protected. Supreme Court decision just 2 years old.
Okay. Thanks, Judge. We'll
Welcome.
See you again.
See you in the 11th.
Yes, sir.